Oh, fuck.
Oh, boy.
And suddenly silence.
Yeah, I'm looking at the... Oh, there it is. Here we go. Happy Halloween, everybody.
There we go.
Have a spooky Halloween, everyone.
Oh, God. Yes, hello.
Hello.
Happy Halloween, everybody. Yeah. Hey, everybody, what's happening? Yes, hello, Goya.
Hello, hi.
Happy Halloween. Yeah, so it's Halloween.
Almost forgot.
Yes. Yes. So, why am I hearing myself? Oh, hang on.
Probably can't have the thing open. You just need to...
Yeah, there we go. Yes. Oh, shit. We are doing a live Halloween shitposting extra special whatever thing. And, yeah. We're here. It's Halloween. Y'all asked for it. Here we are. I am joined by Adam Haight, Bradshaw Wilson, and Mr. Raiden, who's back with us again from our JFK episode. And, of course, I am Johnny Monoxide. What's up, fellas?
What's up?
What up?
Good to be here.
I can't move, breathe, speaker here, and it's so dark all the time. If I knew it would be this lonely, I would have been cremated instead.
Ooh. Starting off the show.
If I would have known you were going to
just
be
right.
that gay, we would have cremated you ourselves, yeah. No.
Starting off with a little bit of spookiness for this Halloween.
That's right. Anybody do anything cool for Halloween at all today?
I worked till 7, which was not spooky.
I did some cool stuff, but we'll talk about that off on the side. Adam and Brad, you guys know. But I did take the kid trick-or-treating. That was fun. And, of course, I have a bunch of candy now.
What was his costume?
He was a ninja. He was a ninja. I wanted him to be Hitler, but his mother punched me in the ribs when I said that. So,
Well, he was the Asterian ally of Hitler. So,
No, I was going to say, you're
That's
being
right.
really sensitive, allowing your son to be a ninja.
Really, what?
That's cultural appropriation, my friend.
Well, considering that Halloween is a white holiday, we can appropriate whatever fucking shit we want for Halloween. So there you go. I got my coffee. We're going to stay up as late as possible tonight and spook some people.
Jesus.
I got my 40 ounce.
Brad, you got a 40?
Yeah, I got a nice 40. Nothing crazy, just a milk
Nice. All right. We're going to have some other guests join us in a little while. We got hopefully we might have our very own Black Jew Demarcus Leibowitz might swing through later on after the World Series. Larry Ridgeway from the Alt-Right Rises and Hate House says he may swing by in a little bit when he gets done wage cucking, and J.O. Delaray from the Alt-Right Rises is supposed to come by as well. So, as it is right now, we got Adam, Brad, Raiden, and myself.
Got a few pastas.
Yeah, we got pastas.
Yeah,
Brad, you want to throw a link up to those so we can all take turns or whatever?
Oh no, you want to do some live reads? I'm down to do some live reads. I was saying I have like some recorded that we could play.
Oh yeah, you want to do one real quick? Yeah, pop one up.
Which
Pop one up.
one do
Real
you want
quick.
to do? Do you want me to play it, or do you want to play it?
Can you play
pick
it?
one. I don't care. Yeah. If you can play it so I can hear it, then you can, and then everybody can hear it. Oh no, Brad. Do this, Brad.
This one's
God.
called "Go Find Humming Nature Day and Night Alone in the Woods outside of our town. She wanted to get photos of the woods and the wildlife as naturally as she could for her portfolio. She wasn't afraid of being alone, as she had many times before. She set up a tent in the middle of a small clearing and spent the day. She filled up 4 rolls of film on that trip, but something was strange about them. What she saw in those photos has stayed with her ever since, and she is still trying to recover from the trauma that it caused her. Edited for, save for one picture in each roll of film. These pictures were of her, asleep in her tent, in the middle of the night.
Uh-oh. Was that it? What happened?
And did you hear it?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we heard that.
Oh, yeah, that was it.
Oh, right on.
They're short. They're short ones. I want them rapid fire. You know.
Oh, okay. Let me get in there real quick. So, what are you guys' fondest memories of childhood Halloween?
Ooh, that's a good question.
The time I got banned from going trick or treating because I put up flyers around my neighborhood trying to get people to go to nimp.org. A GNAA website. NIMP.org, NIMP.org, which was a GNAA site that pretty much just computer with malware. So
Wow, that's kind of
my mom
shitty.
caught me putting up shitty things in the past. But
What's GNAA?
the Gay Nigger Association of America,
Okay.
online trolls.
Hacker kind of group. I don't really have any
Yeah, so
particularly interesting memories
Goyer
about
is
it.
on
Just a lot of
timeout.
trick or treating and normal shit. Suddenly, everyone's quiet.
Probably my
Yeah,
best
spooky
one was just like I went as a IRS agent for Halloween once, and because I was like, well,
Yeah.
scaring the kids, like, you know, that'll be okay. Scaring the adults, that's how you get the candy.
That's incredibly big brain. Thinking like outside the box like that.
Yeah.
I might have to go as a caveman this year.
Jeez.
I kind of regret I couldn't go as Trump this year.
You
I'm
go as
going
Trump?
as
I
Nice.
would if I didn't have to fucking work tonight. I mean, I could
I'm
go
just-
now, I guess.
I'm wearing an American flag
Definitely my
cape
friend.
right now, and I am proper optics. That's what I am for Halloween.
Hmm.
We're not doing that. No. Okay.
Am I lagging, you guys? You guys hear me? Can you guys hear me?
No, I hear you fine.
It's all right.
Oh, okay.
I feel like one of us is lagging at any given point in time because I'll say something and it'll be like 20 seconds will go by and someone will reply. So I don't know.
It is what it is. I got rural internet, so you know what happened last time.
Do you have a hand crank modem? Some Juno internet?
I don't have Juno. It's not Juno. It's CenturyLink though.
Oosh.
So
That's
yeah.
almost worse.
yeah,
I
I know. Right?
I'm actually recording on a track phone right now in the middle of the woods. I have to pay by minute for internet usage. So let's stop dilly dallying.
It's pretty good quality track phone. Is that like Boost Mobile?
Oh, no, it's actually no. It's a track phone. It's an iPhone track phone.
It's an iPhone track phone. I had no idea that they even made those. That's awesome. No, it doesn't. An iTrack. That's great. So you went as an IRS agent when you're Adam.
Yeah, I was like
great.
12 maybe.
That's awesome. So would you like wear a suit and carry a clipboard and like all people on the street?
I put tape on my glasses to make it look like they were like, I got fucking punched and they broke and like had to tape them together. And I put a, like a tie and this little white shirt. I just tried to look like a turbo nerd, which was not too far off from where I already was. And I just had a clipboard with me in a briefcase that I put the candy in.
Did you dock 20% of each kid's candy?
Sorry?
Did you like deduct 30% of each kid's candy?
No, I was only, pretending to be an IRS agent. I wasn't actually Jewish.
That's great. That's great.
I actually have a Hollywood, or not. Why did I say Hollywood? I've been thinking about conspiracy theories too much. Halloween. I have a really fond Halloween memory where I think I got roofied at a Halloween party.
Oh, nice.
Because I blacked out.
Nice.
There was this jungle juice. And it was this just like raspberry vodka and a bunch of shit in there. And I just, I had a little bit of the jungle juice and then I don't remember the rest of the night.
Wow.
I remember this one. There was this one drunk like foreign kid. He was like like some kind of Asian. He barely spoke English, but he was Osama bin Laden, and it was his place. And by the time I got there, he was like stumbling all over the place. It was the funniest thing, like a Cambodian Osama bin Laden that's shit faced.
Probably not far off the mark of what actually happened.
What, did you wake up with a sore ass or something, or what?
No, I don't remember what happened after that. So I think I got roofied. My asshole was just fine. My asshole was just for shitting. I don't even spread my cheeks to wipe. That's how not gay I am.
What do you mean wipe?
Dude, like, why would I wipe my own ass? It's putting something between your ass cheeks. That's gay.
Fellas,
just drink some water over, bro.
We're off to a great start.
Hey, I'd like to. Now that we're actually shit posting, let's welcome Chef Goyardee to the call.
Whoa, what up?
Hello.
Hey, what's up, guys? How y'all doing?
Oh God, how drunk are you?
Doing well.
This is gonna be another.
I'm actually feeling pretty good. I'm only like 2 beers in.
All right, as long as you don't switch to liquor.
That is
It's
true.
a weeknight. It's a weeknight, even though it's Halloween.
Yeah, I know.
It is a weeknight.
Gotta work tomorrow, Christ.
Yeah.
Yeah, what's the deal with right wingers and having jobs?
Still with right wingers and drinking.
I drink to forget that like everything is fucked and we're being replaced.
Oh God, no! Let's not do that tonight, huh? Let's not
Yeah.
talk about that.
Do you want me to have
I
like
drank to.
drunken existential crisis tonight? It's not really. That's not really scary for
Happy
you.
drunk here. Like I get drunk, I'm like, wow, everything's great.
No, everything is great when you drink, but I'm not gonna have a drunken existential crisis because that's only scary for me. It's not scary for the audience.
That's not
Yeah, I haven't had a drunken existential crisis in years. Now I just drink and fall asleep. Everybody knows that.
Well, like you said that, Johnny, you're like, oh, those were the damn existential crises.
Those were the days, weren't
They
they?
can be pretty terrifying. That's true.
So my daughter won't stop crying and screaming in the middle of the night.
Ooh,
I visit her grave and ask her to stop, but it doesn't help.
This sounds like the beginning of a creepypasta.
So yeah, so let me tell you guys.
Sentence ones.
Let me tell you guys a little bit about one of my Halloween memories from when I was a kid. So we're going up our streets, my brother and my mom and myself, and my mom had this corduroy jacket that had a hood, and it was kind of cold, so she put the hood up, and the hood was kind of pointy. And my mom's, I get my height from my mom. My mom's like 5 feet barely, so she looked like she could have been a kid, right? Right? And who said what height? Fuck you. So we're walking down the street, and some teenager thought it would be funny to throw a pumpkin at my mom. because they thought she was like some teenager or something walking like her little brothers around or something. And my mom turned around and cussed this kid out, and like 4 teenagers basically shit themselves, ran, tripped and fell, rolled down a hill into the creek. Damn. It was fucking great. Yeah. Yeah. My mom can be very, very, very mean when she's angry. So yeah, that was great. I guess she saw the shadow of this kid holding a pumpkin over his head. He was going to smash it on my mom, and she turned around and cussed him out, and that was fucking hilarious. But let me see what else. What other Halloween things do I have? Nothing really scary ever happened to me on Halloween. It was just your typical trick or treating, half a pillowcase full of candy.
Well, that was my favorite. That's my favorite thing about Halloween. It's about the community. You can come together, and it's just like, I remember my neighborhood was really cool, and there's just be a bunch of kids and parents walking around, and there weren't, Mexicans and blacks walking around. It's not white people. It's great.
We didn't have any of that when I was a kid. Now it's like, now you got to go to do the trunk or treat, or you got to go to the mall,
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard about that trunk or treat thing. Like, I heard someone was talking about it. I overheard them, and like, dude, that's so shitty. Like, you can't just go out into your neighborhood anymore and trick or treat.
Yeah, because it's unsafe to go out in your own neighborhood or whatever, or people are putting razor blades in the candy or whatever. I mean, there's always that stuff.
It's unsafe to go out trick or treating in your neighborhood. You could almost say it's a little too spooky.
Yeah, right.
Goy, just go to the mall instead.
Yeah, just go to the mall. Just go to the mall. Yeah. No, I mean, and a lot of we are. There's a lot of the Southern Baptists, and a lot of them don't do Halloween because Jesus. So
go fuck yourself. You're abusing your kids.
Like, right. So a lot of people don't do Halloween. So, I mean, these are the same people that don't let their kids read Harry Potter, which I don't have a problem with that. I really don't have a problem with them not letting their kids read Harry Potter. I mean, whatever. And they don't grow up to be fucking bugmen, but
Well, no, if they read Harry Potter, they're not going to grow up is the problem.
This is true. Yeah. I did see while taking my kid out trick-or-treating tonight, there was the black family, which of course is the mother and 2 kids. And of course, neither kid is wearing a costume, but they have a bag just walking around trick-or-treating. That's
all the candy from like when they leave the candy out.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah, you better get that candy.
Better grab everything I can. Just grabbing like all of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm looking. I'm like, do they even have any makeup on or anything, or like an eye patch or like a blacked out tooth or something to make them look like? Nope, just their regular school clothes and a pillowcase.
Wait, so what did they dress up as?
Well, blacks. Yeah, they were just themselves. I mean, which
pretty scary.
Scary enough
It's scary enough, I would say.
Yeah,
I basically walk around in costumes every day anyway. No, okay. So I can tell you. So today, in my kitchen, all the Mexicans dressed up in Day of the Dead paint. Like face paint, the whole fucking shabab, and they even had like the old like traditional Guatemala outfit for the women. And but then the face paint for the Day of the Dead, and I dressed up as a ICE agent. I didn't realize I was gonna have like this confluence of like Day of the Dead Mexicans and ICE agent, but it was pretty good until my manager got pissed off at me and told me to take my costume off. I was like, God damn it!
They made you take your costume off?
Yeah, they made me take my costume off. They let the Mexicans keep the Day of the Dead costume on. Yeah,
that's fucking wrong, man. That's not right.
Hey, I made a couple of them uncomfortable, so in my book, I won.
Yeah, but I mean,
I gotta say, I'm looking at the chat right now, and shout out to Antifa Hotline. They posted, "Tell your fascist legion to stay home. Halloween belongs to Antifa."
Oh my god!
I just saw that.
Oh, really, I shut off the live stream just so it doesn't slow my internet down.
What, you shut off the live stream?
The live stream on the YouTube. I was gonna watch it while we were talking, but
I thought you meant like you stopped like recording the live stream. I was like, what?
Oh no, we're still going. We're still going, of course. Yeah, no, of course. We've got 45. We've got 45.
Yeah, we're gonna have guests for a non-aired show.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's behind the paywall.
Yeah, it's behind the paywall. We got a thumbs down. All right. I wish I could like see who thumbs up and who thumbs down. That'd be great.
That was me.
Yeah, this sucks.
It's probably some Southern Baptist who hates trick-or-treaters, just thumbs down the video.
Right. Yeah, I was I wanted to listen to the show, but I mean I don't really want to listen to that much, poop talk, so.
Oh, it was bad.
Oh,
Bad.
dude, it
It
was
took up
great.
my whole morning commute. Ugh.
It was great. Everyone
pretty controversial episode.
everyone's all like, "Oh, I want them to talk, rhetoric and politics," and I'm like, I want to hear him talk about like us or like barbecue or bad lifting advice. Those are my favorite.
That's what makes the fatherland so great. Just
What that they don't have any actual like.
my line. They do no prep. No, they're talking about mowing. Oh, I love it.
We just talk about what?
Mowing.
Dude, why
Mow the
don't
lawn.
you just get your wife? Like, why don't you just get your wife to mow the lawn?
Because she won't do it correctly. She won't get the line straight.
I don't know. Ask Sven.
Stop halfway.
Ask Sven. Get some tips from him.
I got a creepypasta.
Oh, you want to read something?
It'll just be a live read.
Yeah, do a live read.
All right, here we go. A few months ago, I was driving along the streets of Los Angeles with my friend, Zach, until we realized that we were running out of gas. We were trying to park somewhere to give our car a rest, but no luck. Then something caught our eyes. It was a McDonald's building with Ronald McDonald at the top of it. When we parked by the parking lot, we noticed that there was no customers inside. It was weird, considering that McDonald's is open 24/7. Also, there were no cars either. I could have swore that the Ronald McDonald statue turned its head against me. I told Zach about it, but when he saw it, it was in a normal position. He told me I was going nuts, but the statue did turn its head. I then heard a faint laugh coming from the inside. We got terrified. I tried opening the door, but it was locked by a rusty master combination lock. We didn't have time to figure out the combination, so Zach pulled out his gun and shot at it. It was finally unlocked. So we opened the door to the inside. What we saw was so horrible. There were dead corpses all over the tables and chairs, and lots of blood in the soda machine. We puked in the trash can that was next to us, but before we did that, I saw mutilated arms and legs inside, which made us puke even more. How did McDonald's end up like this? We were so hungry, so we ran into the kitchen. There were fries and a few burgers. I thought we finally found food until we saw more corpses. This time they had no eyeballs, just blood coming from their sockets. Their stomachs had been ripped open with the organs ripped out. I tried ignoring them, but they still bother me. I didn't even have time to eat fries. I tried escaping through the main door, but it mysteriously locked by itself. We were now prisoners inside the building. We got scared just by staring at the corpses. Zach and I spit it up, trying to look for an exit. He went to a door that was covered in oil. I didn't want to enter with him because I felt the danger was lurking behind the door. That's when I saw a small bomb in one of the dining tables. I picked it up, fused it with my lighter, and placed it in the door. After 10 seconds, it finally exploded. I was free to go wherever I want. I tried calling him to come back, but he still didn't answer. I filled up my car with my backup gas supply that I stored in the trunk. I waited for him to get back to my car with me. It was now 7 p.m. That's when I saw a tall figure coming from the door with a chainsaw. I drove away as fast as I could. I managed to escape to my house. Zach never came back at all. 2 days later, I received a newspaper with the most disturbing headline of all. It said, 2 boys went to an abandoned McDonald's restaurant in the far side of Los Angeles. One managed to get away, with the other one nowhere in sight. Police are still trying to locate the man, but they never found proof. Then they mysteriously disappeared by entering an oil-covered door. What was behind the door? How did they all go missing? I hope someone would solve this mystery sometime soon.
Ooh, that was super spooky. You scared Raiden away, dude. Like, literally, you scared Raiden away.
Damn, it was that bad?
That bad lag. That bad lag.
Oh, wait, he's back. He's back. We thought you scared him off for good, but no. I think he just went to go shiver in the corner for a minute and came back. So, that was an interesting pasta.
I got one to read.
Okay.
I got one to read too, actually.
Okay, go ahead.
Y'all mind if I?
Yeah, go ahead, Brad.
John Stalford waited. The lights above him blinked and sparked out of the air. There were demons in the base. He didn't see them, but he had expected them now for years. His warnings to Sir Nell Josen were not listened to, and now it was too late. Far too late now, anyway. John was a space marine for 14 years. When he was young, he was in the spaceships, and he said to Dad, "I want to be on the ship, Daddy." Dad said, "No, you will be killed by demons." There was a time when he believed him. Then he got older and he stopped. But now in the space station of the UAC, he knew there were demons. "This is Jocelyn," the radio cracked. "You must fight the demons." So John got at his plasma rifle and he blew up the wall. "He going to kill us," said the demons. "I will shoot at him," said the cyber demon. And he fired the rocket missiles. John Plasma had at him and he tried to blow him up. But then the ceiling fell and they were trapped and not able to kill. "No, I must kill the demons," he shouted. The radio said, "No, John, you are the demons." And then John was a zombie.
Oosh.
Oosh.
That's a classic.
Not coming.
Is that some Doom spooky pasta?
Yeah, that was Doom Repercussions of Evil.
Nice.
Nice.
Tasteful.
Very nice. Yeah.
Classic choice.
Very good.
The music
very
was
good,
a nice
very good.
touch.
Thank you. Also,
Was that did you play the music and you read that, or was that like a pre-recorded?
no, I played the music and read that live.
was
Also,
good.
Nice.
Oh, nice. Nice.
Free
Nice.
music library that is actually that's not going to get this live stream monetized.
Ooh.
Hmm.
So
Nice.
Genesis is
Wait, so
very
is that
nice.
some
You
kind
played
of
it for
a
your-
generic track you found, or where'd that track come from?
Yeah, YouTube's free music library. Like,
Oh, so that actually was pretty good.
Did you play it through your banana?
yeah, I played it through my banana. I actually have an aux cord plugged into a banana, and that's plugged into my headphone jack.
Which is plugged into his track phone.
fucking great, man.
His iPhone track phone.
Yes. iPhone.
I-
Right,
track.
right.
And I'm
That's right.
in the heart of the wood doing this recording right now.
Mm. The lengths he goes to for us. We got hats off to Bradshaw. Gotta say.
I'm on
That's right. He's a good
They're
guy.
real.
He's a good guy.
Well, shit. I got a creepy
They're
pasta.
streets. They don't know the struggle of living in the wood.
Oh, in the heart of the wood.
I can't play
They don't
music.
know how it be.
Who's got a
charge
creepypasta?
my-
Did you say Chef? You got one?
Yeah, I got one.
Is it a hand crank charge, Brad?
No, it's a maple tree.
You gotta tap
So
it.
you just sap it. You tap the. I get it, and you get a delicious breakfast treat as well.
Phone's a little sticky, but it works.
It does. All right, Chef, you got one for us?
Yeah, I got one. It's all right. I ran straight to the supermarket when I heard about the nuclear strike. The government said that a deadly disease was spreading where I lived, and that they were going to eliminate anyone who had it. When I got to the store, I saw that almost all of the canned foods were gone. In fact, almost everything was gone. I grabbed all of the cans that I could carry, ran outside to my car, and realized it was not enough to keep me alive in my bomb shelter. Wondering what I would do, the nuclear strike being imminent, I saw a woman and 2 small children loading a van with food cans. They had enough to survive years, I thought. I ran to the woman and asked if I could have some of the cans. I'm sorry, I have more people to feed at my house. I can't spare any, she told me. Walking back to my car, disappointed, I stepped on something. I looked down to see I stepped on a screwdriver. That's when I got the idea. I bent down, I picked it up, and looked toward the woman, still loading the van with the canned foods. I needed the food. So I walked over to the woman. I'm sorry, she said to me. I can't spare it. She was cut off by the screwdriver I rammed into her chest. I'm sorry, I said as she slowly died. Her children were gone. I don't know where they went, and I didn't care. I shut the hatch on the back of the van, jumped in, and drove back to my house. In the street, there were people begging me to let me in the van. The nuclear bomb would hit soon, and there was no room, so I kept driving. When they started trying to block the van, I floored it. I don't know how many people I ran over. I jumped out of the van, now crimson, and started unpacking the cans into the bomb shelter. It took about an hour, so by the time I got out, by the time I got all of the cans into the bomb shelter, I saw the planes. I ran into the bomb shelter, and after a few minutes, I heard an extremely loud bang. Then nothing. It would be a few months until the radiation cleared up, so I sat down. I was hungry, so I picked up a can. That's when I realized I left the can opener in my house.
Fuck.
No.
Nuclear fallout.
Nuclear fallout.
Damn.
So, okay, I'm trying to see now. See, Brad came to the table with music for his. And
Yeah.
it's like that's not even fair.
Hey, you know, I know what I'm doing.
He's ahead of the curve.
I'm a fucking professional.
Setting the bar high.
All right, hold on. Let me see. Does this music work?
Nope.
I don't hear anything.
It's not working.
Like a rose. Capture the rose.
You guys hear that?
Nope.
Oh yeah, there we go.
No music.
No, I don't hear anything.
No, I hear it. I hear
So
it.
what's to sing in the background while someone does a creepypasta?
No.
Here, you know what? Hey, listen, buddy, pal,
That
step
sucks.
aside. Let the professional take this.
What do you
over, all right?
see? The thing is, like, all right. See, I use Google Hangouts so infrequently. What are you using for your speaker channel?
His banana.
Speakers, everything goes through Banana.
All right, hold on.
Here, I'll take over. All right.
Hold on.
Coffins used to be built with holes in them, attached to 6 feet of copper tubing and a belt. The tubing would allow air for victims buried under the mistaken impression they were dead. In a certain small town, Harold, the local gravekeeper, upon hearing a bell one night, went to see if it was children pretending to be spirits. Sometimes it was also the wind. This time, it was neither. A voice from below begged and pleaded to be unburied. "Are you Sarah O'Bannon?" Harold asked. "Yes," the muffled voice asserted. "You were born on September 17th, 1827? "Yes, the gravestone here says you died on February 20th, 1857. "No, I'm alive. It was a mistake. Dig me up. Set me free." "Sorry about this, ma'am," Harold said, stepping on the bell to silence it and plugging up the copper tube with dirt. "But this is August. Whatever you are down there, you sure as hell ain't alive no more. And you ain't coming up."
Is that a true story?
Ooh.
Big if true.
Was it big if true? Wow, that's crazy. All right, how about now?
Big ass true.
Yeah, now I hear it.
A young girl walking home from school found a small pile of Polaroid photos lying in the gutter. There were 20 in all, neatly wrapped in a rubber band. She picked them up, and as she walked, she started to browse. The first photo was that of a ghostly white man on a black background, standing just far enough away from the camera that she couldn't make out his features. The girl slid the photo to the back of the stack and looked at the next one. The photo was of the same man, now standing a bit closer. The girl flipped through the next several photos quickly. With each one, the man in the picture came a bit closer, and his features were a bit clearer. Turning to the last corner of her house, the girl noticed the man in the photos seemed to be looking at her, even when she moved the stack from side to side. It frightened her, but she kept flipping them over one by one. By the 19th picture, the man was so close his face completely filled the frame. His expression was the most horrifying the girl had ever seen. Walking up the driveway, she turned to the last photo. This time, instead of an image, there were 2 words: close enough. Hearing a scream outside their house, the girl's brother rushed to the door and opened it. All he saw was a pile of photographs lying on the doorstep. The top one looked like an extremely pale version of his sister, but she was standing too far back for him to be sure. Ooh.
Ooh.
There, live
Spoopy.
with music. Spoopy. Yeah, there we go. I actually got the fucking music to work. Yay, I am not a retard. Oh, man. Very spooky. So we got some pastas. That was good. What other, you guys?
You know,
I should be like an
Excellent.
honorary Italian for all this pasta.
Hey, we're food niggers. You got pasta nigger, potato nigger, hey.
You know, well, we could talk about when you guys are done with anything else you got in the bag, but we didn't get to everything we could have talked about on that JFK episode. So if you guys want to do that, we could talk about some aspects of things some ideas I got on that.
Yeah, that was something that we didn't. Yeah, we didn't because internet went bad and things happened, and we got to. How far did we get? We got to who was the last guy we were talking about?
Well, we talked about LBJ, and then I gave my theory on basically why Kennedy was assassinated, but we didn't really talk about the CIA or the mob all that much.
Yeah, let's start with the mob.
I mean, if you guys want to go right away, that's fine. Basically,
Yeah, let's do a little bit of this. We'll do, how about we do this? We'll do a little bit of this, and we'll do a creepypasta, and we'll do a little bit of that. We'll do a creepypasta,
Yeah, whatever you guys want.
How about that?
Basically, I guess
All
my basic view would be people often, like, for the longest time after the JFK assassination, there was this kind of either or debate. Like, was it the mob or was it the CIA? And it's like the classic meme, right? Why not both? And it fits. It really fits together really nicely, because when you realize that the mob and the CIA have had a close working relationship since the 1940s, like there's really, you don't need to separate them. They're basically 2 sides of the same coin. So beginning in the 1940s, the mob and the CIA started working together, and accelerating into now the 60s, the mob, as we all know, was heavily involved in the Bay of Pigs. The mob obviously was also pissed off with Jack because they helped him get elected, but then in return, Bobby gets into the Department of Justice, and Bobby is kind of this like really fiercely idealistic guy. He originally wanted to be a priest, so he doesn't actually go along with what Jack might have intended, and Jack doesn't really give a shit. And so Bobby starts going after these guys ruthlessly. He puts 750 of them behind bars in like 3 years. It's like way more than any administration had ever done. And so the mob had a motivation to kill him, basically. And so them plus the CIA, that we could go into the CIA aspect, but that's
why'd they
Go ahead.
kill JFK if Bobby was the one hassling him?
Right. So
Right.
there's a telling quote by I think Sam Giancana, who was the head of the Chicago mob, and he was asked that, and he said, if you kill Bobby, that's just going to make Jack destroy us. So when you want to kill a snake, you don't cut off the tail, you cut off the head.
Oh.
Because if you kill Jack, then Bobby's just another lawyer.
Now, see,
Right.
those guys were thinking with their dipsticks.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense. What do you think now? Now, the whole thing with Bobby and the mob. Now, didn't Kennedy's dad promise the mob like a whole bunch of like basically not to prosecute them for stuff and not to come after them, and then Bobby went right after him, right?
Right. I mean, none of this is really proven because the Kennedys, if they believed in one thing, it was never write anything down. And actually, that was Joe Kennedy Sr., the father. He always said that. He said, never write anything down. Keep it all in your brain, because that was the big, that's how you get in trouble, right? If you leave a paper trail. So that's a pretty smart comment by the father. And so we don't know if there was. We're not going to get official proof if there was any agreement. Like, you do this for me, you get my son elected, and we'll lay off you. But it's pretty obvious that that's probably what happened, or that's what the agreement was anyway. But judging by how pissed the mob was at Jack after he did get elected and they didn't lay off him,
Right.
and that's really due to Bobby. And Bobby himself, after Jack was hit, was racked with guilt and felt himself to be personally responsible for and felt that he had brought on Jack's assassination through the stuff he did as Attorney General. So that goes to show that probably there was a deal.
Who is Eugene Brading?
Eugene Brading. I don't know. Who's that?
He was an associate of James Fratiano from the Denver mob, from the Small Donuts family. Does that ring a bell?
No. Why? What about?
Okay, so I don't know. This is another mob guy. This is 1963. Braden was living in L.A. on parole at the time. Claimed to be an oil prospector and obtained permission from his parole officer to visit Dallas on a business trip. He was scheduled to be in Dallas for the day of the 21st, but he stayed in Dallas and ended up
Who's breathing in their mic?
in Dallas on the 22nd. Yeah, whoever's breathing in their mic needs to not, please. Said that he stayed in Dallas and he visited the offices of some huge oil company on November 21st. Now, we know who owned a huge oil company at the time.
That would be
or
George
supposedly.
Bush Sr.
Huge oil. That's
Zapata
right.
Oil.
What was it? It was a pot of oil, yeah. And he said he went to get a job at this oil company, supposedly. I don't know. So something to do with him and Ruby were connected. Ruby, stop calling him Ruby. His name's Rubenstein.
Yeah, I mean, Ruby was connected to everyone, right? I mean, I mentioned last time that he was he has the chauffeur for Al Capone back in the day. He knew everybody. So that's not surprising. I mean, literally everyone anyone who had an interest in Jack's death was in Dallas that day. H.W. Bush was in Dallas. Johnson was in Dallas.
Yitzhak
Rabin was in Dallas. I mean, literally everybody was in Dallas. So it's almost like it was almost like they were there to watch the show, like watch the fireworks go off or something. It's kind of creepy when you think about it.
Yeah,
it's like they saw.
No, who was the mafia
sacrifice? Go ahead.
Well, what a surprise! Yeah, what a sacrifice! Yeah, who was the mafia guy that supposedly took the shot?
That would be. I mean, so there's two theories on who the grassy knoll shooter was, and it depends on who you ask or what you believe. The first theory is that there's this guy named Lucien Sarti, who was like this French Corsican gunman.
Okay.
He was the guy, and then there's also the theory that it was this guy James Files, and I tend to believe the Files theory. If you guys look up on YouTube, there's this guy Jeremy Croth, who's like a professor at like UC San Diego or something, and he did this big, long presentation on his theory behind the assassination. And he said he interviewed James Files, who's behind bars for killing 2 police officers. And Files said he's the guy who did it. And so obviously Croth isn't just going to believe him just to believe him. So he would test Files by sending him, writing to him and being like, who do you think of such and such? And he'll name like some obscure figure that, like the Eugene Braden guy or whatever you said, or like someone who's not like a central figure like Sam Giancana, like someone who's really in the know would know about. And he would type back something like, I never liked drug dealers, or like, some kind of like detail like that would tell you that he knew who the guy was. That
was Files you're talking about, right?
Files. And then sometimes Croth would write to him and make up a name. And Files would say, I don't know that guy. So that was, if he was acting, then it's a pretty good act. So if you look, that's who I tend to believe did it. James Files.
You think it was James Files? What about the theory of the 3 hobos on the hill, one of them being Charles Harrelson, who's Woody Harrelson's father?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I guess so, but were they weren't the ones who took the shot, I don't think, were they?
Charles Harrelson told someone while he was in jail later on that he was the guy that took the shot. He was supposedly a U.S. Marine Corps sniper.
Yeah, I guess we're never going to know. I mean, he killed the first federal judge to be killed in the 20th century. I'm looking him up now. Yeah, okay, he stated he killed John F. Kennedy. I mean, I guess, we're never going to know for sure. I tend to believe the Files thing, though, because there seems to be, he corroborated a lot more information, whereas this Harrelson guy, he died, and I don't know if he ever really corroborated that much. But he does look like the guy in the 3 Tramps photograph, for sure.
Yeah, he's definitely. I mean, if yeah, that's what I'm saying. He does look like him enough to where it's probably him.
Yeah.
Now, did he actually take the shot? Who knows?
Right. And it is even if you don't believe in the grassy knoll theory, which I'm not even really completely convinced by. You don't need. It can still be a conspiracy, even if you accept Oswald acted alone, because the level of planning and detail that went into knowing the parade routes and being able to have that level of training to get those shots off would suggest that he had some pretty high level backers.
Definitely.
But like
which brings it back around to Jay, because he's the guy who would be in the know, who had the most, like I said, had the most means, had the most motive.
Right. That would be LBJ, who was the person who put it all in motion. And then, as far as the people who actually carried it out, would probably be a mixture between the CIA and the mob. The CIA had a great motive as well, because they number one, there's the famous quote from JFK that he was going to splinter the CIA into 1,000 pieces after they kind of fucked him over on the Bay of Pigs, which I talked about in the last episode. And on top of that, JFK was cucking one of the CIA guys' wives, one of the CIA guys with his wife, Cord Meyer, who comes up a lot in a lot of this literature. He fired Alan Dulles, who was later to serve on the Warren Commission. Right. It's kind of convenient. And
the Dulles brothers, that's a name, the name that goes back, I mean, throughout history. Whenever something bad, or you got, were the Dulles brothers involved in what were they involved in before
they were involved in Guatemala. All sorts of shit throughout the 50s and 60s. I mean, Guatemala, right? PBS Success. They were involved in Iran, overthrow of Mossadegh. I mean, yeah, they were all over the place. The hardcore Cold Warriors. And this was during a time which was like the height of the Cold War tensions. So if you see a president who's like this young, untested president won the election narrowly in a controversial election, and he's now pushing for peace with the Soviet Union. It's like, and after he, supposedly fucks over the Bay of Pigs guys, it's kind of like, they're going to be like, oh, he's selling out, He's fucking us over. He's selling out the country. He's surrendering.
And hello.
Hello.
Okay.
Oh, hey.
Hi guys.
We have a sorry to interrupt you there, Raiden. We have another Goyim joining us. It is Indrid Cold, otherwise known as Larry Ridgeway from the Alt-Right Rises and the new podcast on Vandal Voice. It's Hate House. Sup, Larry?
Not much, man. How are you guys all doing?
Good. Happy Halloween, brother.
What's up, Larry?
Happy Halloween.
Yeah, I just got off of work, so
Nice.
Thanks for
Well,
coming
it's
out.
good of you to join us. While we got you here, do you have a memory, like a really a childhood Halloween memory that stands out?
no, not really. Like, you mean like scary or anything, or?
It's scary or anything. I mean, like whatever. Did you ever get laid on Halloween, or like I don't know, like did you ever seen to ghosts?
I have not seen a ghost. However, my mom thinks that she's seen a ghost in our old house.
Oh, ooh, do tell.
Well, I don't know a whole lot about it because this was years ago. My mom doesn't live with us anymore, but I don't know. I just basically like brushed it off. I thought she was crazy. She had some woman come into the house and like walk around the basement, and she was like, "Oh, there's something horrible down here." It's like, I don't buy that shit.
Damn, you just chucked her mom under the ghost bus.
I guess so. Jesus Christ.
Nice.
But I hope I didn't interrupt anybody when I got on here.
Yeah, it was
you're
terrible. Right in the middle of the story.
Yeah, he was right in the middle of some JFK posting, but it's all right, Larry. Don't worry about it. It's all right. Raiden was we're just finishing up some loose ends from the JFK.
There's any ghosts involved in the JFK assassination, but it's plenty interesting. So yeah, I mean, I guess the CIA, the mob, basically did it. It's not really a very fancy theory. It's not like a lot of guys like to think it's like are kind of enamored with it's because of his secret society speech, or because he wanted to print silver, and it's like I think the vast majority of the evidence, if you look at his entire presidency, is him turning against the Cold War and trying to wrap that up. Like the secret society speech, if you look at the big context of it, he was basically talking about communism. He brings up Marx and Stalin and all these communist figures, because communism was literally a conspiracy and a secret society in itself. As far as the Federal Reserve theory, I just think it's kind of silly, to be honest.
It's like normie tier shit.
It's kind of, yeah. His basic, it's a fact that he wanted to pull out of Vietnam, and it's a fact that he gave a speech saying that, the Soviets and the Americans, we breathe the same air, we both want what's best for our children. It's a fact that he said he wanted to splinter the CIA into 1,000 pieces. These are all things that are verifiable, and these are all things that point to him basically wanting to end the Cold War, which was not in the interests of the people who were making money off the Cold War. So I tend to just go with that theory.
What about his whole deal about ending the Fed, though?
Yeah, I think it's kind of I guess what's the theory is he wanted to print silver. Like, I just don't get it. Like, I don't know how that ended.
He wanted to get rid of the Federal Reserve. He wanted to get the United States off of the buying currency from a central bank.
Yeah, I don't know how one executive order would unwind a massive apparatus like the Federal Reserve, and B, like, he never once talked about it. Nobody that was around him in the White House has ever mentioned it. So it's all kind of hinges on literally the text of this one executive order. I don't know. It just seems a little bit thin to me. Whereas with with the Cold War ending theory, it's like you could back it up with every single, like a lot of different sources from in his White House, a lot of different executive orders, a lot of different speeches, etc. I don't know. I tend to go with that.
Okay.
But I know it's not as fancy as Golda Meir gave the order from Israel to have him removed because he knew too much and wanted to end the Fed or something like that. I mean, I know it's not a sexy theory, but I mean, it's I think that's what happened.
It sounds reasonable.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, ending the Cold War, I mean, regardless, you're going against the Jews. I mean,
That's
no matter which
absolutely
way you go about it,
That's
so
definitely true.
Whether he's going against the Jews in the secret societies, or the Jews at the Fed, or the Jews at fucking Lockheed Martin,
Right.
So,
Right. And I know people there's some people in the alt-right that think JFK was like based on everything. I think he was pretty strong on this. In this situation, he agreed with us, but like it is also pretty clear, like, for example, he did push for the civil rights bill, and he would have passed the Immigration Act. So I'm not saying JFK is like the greatest person ever. I think he was woke on some issues, but on other issues, he was just kind of a guy who was just going along to get along like everyone else. So he's a mixed bag. I mean, I like him in certain respects. Like when he passed physical education or pushed for that, like it was at a time when that wasn't a joke. Like I don't know if you guys have seen that video of like that one test or pilot case down in like a school in California, like where all the dudes who do the program come out looking like Olympian gods or something.
Damn, why couldn't we have that?
Yeah, no, it's incredible. Look up like a JFK physical education on YouTube, and it should be like the first link. It's like what physical education should be. It's like a real fascist program. It's incredible.
Yeah, I heard that was good.
Yeah, it's almost like, when white people are in control, they care about what their people are doing to their bodies. Instead, now, just a couple years ago, we had some coon in the office like, oh, well, I'm going to serve special lunches to children. And that's how they're going to get everybody in good shape and get them healthy and shit now.
Right. That free breakfast and that free lunch.
Yeah. With the free Obama phone. But, I mean, white people have also can get pretty fucking lazy without POC. Let's be honest here. I mean, this program got dropped in the 70s when America was still like 90% white. It really sucks. Like, I like JFK on the aspects of like the fascist aspects, like the moon landing, the physical education program, some of the rhetoric, stuff like that. Like, I'm not going to say he was perfect, but he was the last truly interesting president. I mean, maybe Nixon as well. I'll give Nixon as well credit. The last truly interesting presidents. But yeah, I don't know. You guys got anything to add to that, or any questions, or anything for me to go off of, or whatever? Or if
you
wanna
just
move
squashed
on,
all
you
my
can do that, too.
conspiracy theory stories. So thanks.
Well, I just wanted to add that there's no way that Nixon was the last interesting ones, because you're about to get into the dawn of the golden years of conservatism, my friend.
True
Yeah.
conservatism, yes.
That's what we needed all along.
I mean, Donald Trump might turn out to be an interesting president, but that's maybe a discussion for another.
Really, the
podcast.
election was the most interesting thing.
That's absolutely. That's
far.
definitely true, dude. I still go back to the primaries, and like I'll still watch those debates. It's like, oh my god, this is incredible! Just like watching that South Carolina debate where he just humiliates George Bush. He's like, or he humiliates Jeb Bush by talking about George Bush. He's like, they lied, and they know they lied.
My brother kept us. My brother kept us safe.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know. Do you feel pretty safe right now? I don't feel safe.
Yeah, it was hilarious. It was savage.
It was. But yeah, we'll save that for another time. Trump posting is more FTN's forte anyway.
Yeah, well, I mean, until it comes to like, the time machine type stuff with John Titor and Trump, and then we're into the Paranormies. And the Baron, you guys ever read that thing about how Baron Trump is a time traveler?
He doesn't look gay.
He's not even through
Right,
puberty
that's
yet. How could he be gay?
No, he
Well, all
comes back.
this stuff coming out of
actually-
Hollywood, man.
Yeah.
Oh, and
Nasty
plus,
stuff.
guys, you've seen his drawings. Those are not time traveler drawings.
Oh yeah, those are funny as hell.
Those are very hetero. Trump.
Those are hard to
Baron-
find.
His anime drawings, those are great.
If you in the perennial ass versus titties debate, Baron is clearly on the side of the latter.
Oh yeah, no, he's truly Hyperborean and is a breast man. So
He's principled.
Really much more principled.
It's true.
Principled has no negroid genes in his choice of female body parts.
It's just one more sign that Baron is the chosen one.
Hey guys, I just wanted to introduce a new character to the show. It's R2D2 Johnny. He's actually 2 feet smaller than the regular Johnny. How you doing, R2D2?
The only problem, yeah, that's funny. The only problem is what I have to do is I have to disconnect and reconnect. But if I disconnect, it ends the fucking broadcast.
That sucks. It really sucks. It's not too bad. It's not too bad, really.
It's fine.
Yeah,
Just want to make it a bit.
we will overcome.
Let me see if I can do something else
Have
here.
you guys? Did you guys ever? You should do.
Well,
next.
hold on.
Yeah.
I want to hit on the ass versus titties debate. Which one is the signifier that she'll produce you many white offspring? Would it be some nice hips or like a big
Ass.
fucking
Ass
Kazar
hips.
milker? Yeah. You want a nice supple, firm ass. You don't want titties, right? Because the titty will come when she's bearing children, but like just those naturally big titties, those are Kazar milkers if she's white. All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Remember that.
And this is making me
That's why
question my
I am
preconceived
firmly in the
notions.
ass camp.
Do you have another
Yeah.
creepypasta? We've gone.
I do.
What,
I do actually.
15, 20 minutes.
I can do one right now.
Sounds good.
Here, let me just load up my music. Oh, I actually can't even hear my own fucking music. Can you hear it?
No.
No.
Yes.
Daddy, I had a bad dream. You blink your eyes and pull up on your elbow. Your clock glows red in the distance. It's 3:23. Do you want to climb into bed and tell me about it? No, Daddy. The oddness of the situation wakes you up more fully. You can barely make out your daughter's pale form in the darkness of your room. Why not, sweetie? Because in my dream, when I told you about the dream, the thing wearing mommy's skin sat up. For a moment, you feel paralyzed. You can't take your eyes off your daughter. And the covers behind you begin to shift.
Dun, dun, dun.
Oh, nigga, I'm so scared.
Who's got the police siren?
Oh yeah. Some
Yeah,
enrichment's
what's
going on
cops?
nearby. I assume.
Someone was spooked to death. Now they got to send the cops to investigate.
Yeah, this is spoopy police.
Spoopy police. Too much spooking.
Sorry, he'll
going on.
laugh at that because that was a bad joke.
some illegal spooking going on in this podcast. You know what episode you guys should do, by the way?
What's
You
that?
should do RFK. Because that's like an
Ooh.
interesting one in itself.
Yeah, with Sirhan, this guy who doesn't
Yeah.
even remember what happened.
Right, and the woman in the polka
Maybe he
dot
was-
dress.
He might have
guys
been in the
touched-
same party as Bradshaw that one time.
That's some like
You got-
MK Ultra type shit right there, isn't it?
Right,
We
yeah.
both bottom shelf.
I don't know if you guys really
but-
mentioned that one on the MK Ultra episode.
I thought they did because Masonius mentioned that. I think that he didn't remember what he did. That's why he hasn't gotten paroled. Otherwise, he probably would have. He would just admit that he did it.
Right.
Yeah. No, he mentioned it briefly, but we didn't really get into it because there was so much other stuff to go over with MK Ultra.
Right.
That could honestly
so let's shit ton.
You guys could probably do another episode on that. That was a good
I was about to
episode.
say that. Yeah.
We can do a couple episodes on MK Ultra. There's a lot of stuff. I mean, if we can go from MK Ultra into the Monarch mind control program, and then there's all the other ones that are just even just the declassified stuff. I mean, without even getting into like the really crazy conspiracy stuff, the really crazy conspiracy stuff. You can get into the declassified stuff. You've got what the hell's her name? Kathy. Forgot her name. She wrote that book Trans America. She's like an MK Ultra mind control slave, and she talks about how she was passed around by people like Kissinger and Gerald Ford, and actually she was taken into the program by Gerald Ford when he was governor of Wisconsin or something like that.
He was never governor.
Wisconsin. What was he? Senator? He was a senator from Wisconsin.
Congressman.
Yeah.
No, he was at Michigan.
That's Michigan. I knew it was one of those fucking cold states that's getting
I don't
full
think
of
he was
Arabs.
governor though. He was a congressman for most of his life. Yeah.
So he
Yeah,
took in this
lifelong
Kathy lady?
Well,
And
all I
what-
have to say is the wrong Kennedy lived. Fuck you, Ted Kennedy, and the fucker you killed.
Yeah, ain't that the truth?
That's pretty messed up what happened.
Jack was the most charismatic, and Bobby was probably the most honorable.
And then
Ted was a piece.
yeah, Ted was just neither.
Ted was just like, anyone got any rolls? He just looks like a fat slob at Thanksgiving.
Pretty much.
Just wants to stuff his
Dude,
face.
Was he the youngest?
Yeah.
Oh, that would do
It's
it.
really bizarre. Actually, for a brief moment in 63, you have three Kennedys occupying government. You have Ted in the Senate, Bobby as AG, and Jack as president. It's one random kind of, I don't know if this is a synchronicity or what, but in 63 you have brothers running the United States. You have Raul and Fidel Castro in Cuba, and you have the Diem brothers in Vietnam.
Mm-hmm.
I've always thought that was interesting.
Still have a fucking Kennedy in government right now. He's a fucking cuckold.
What's his name?
Joe the Third.
Joe. Okay, yeah.
Oh, that's right.
He's like, he doesn't do anything. He's just kind of like a regular generic congressman, right?
Yeah, they like. There's literally he's never done anything of note or had any
Right.
scathe.
The only reason he's there is because his name
Well,
is Kennedy.
Yeah, he saw what happened to like Jack and Bobby.
That's
He's
true.
Like, yeah,
That's true.
I ain't sticking my neck out for anybody.
It's actually true. The reason Ted never ran until like 1980s because he literally like said something like, "What? I don't want to get my ass shot off."
Or have a plane crash.
Right.
That's that's a really interesting one, by the way. The Johnny Jr. thing. It's weird how he was running for Senate in New York, and then his plane crashed, and then boom, Hillary Clinton is the senator from New York.
I don't think he ever ran for senator. He was editing a magazine at the time called George, which didn't really go anywhere.
He was going to run. I believe
Probably.
is what happened.
Probably.
Yeah.
But it is interesting, and this is why people talk about the Kennedy curse. Because it's like, what other word is there when literally, first of all, we don't even mention the fact that Rose Kennedy, well, first of all, Joe Kennedy, the son of the Kennedy patriarch, died in World War II. Then Rose Kennedy, I think, died or had a stroke. And then there's Jack and there's Bobby. And then Joe Kennedy Sr. has a stroke. And then, John Jr. dies in a plane crash. And it's like, and Ted Kennedy with Chappaquiddick. It's like on and on and on and on. It's like, what the hell's going on, right?
And then, of course, one of my favorite limericks is there once was a senator from Mass who went out in search of some ass. He looked up and found it, then fucked up and drowned it, and that was the end of his ass.
That's good. I'm sure that got a lot of play in the 70s.
Oh, yeah.
And Nixon was like cheering when he heard it because he was like, yes, Thank God, because he that was who we thought was going to run against him was Ted.
Yeah, he would have lost.
Yeah, Nixon was gleeful when he heard of Chappaquiddick because he was like, "Yes, that's one thing I don't have to worry about. Another fucking Kennedy to beat me." He wasn't too big a fan of Ted either. He would talk about how Ted had a lot of quote smart kikes around him writing his speeches. Good old
Nixon was our guy. I'm pretty sure Nixon was pretty much our guy.
The best thing I ever heard about Nixon written in our circles was that he was the last president who actually tried to run the government.
Yeah, well, I mean, after him...
Explain that a little bit. What
did he mean by this?
Yeah, what did he mean by this?
But yeah, I don't think Nixon was perfect either, but I think, yeah, him and Jack are like the last two semi-legitimate presidents.
Fair assessment.
Everybody since then is just a shill.
What's that?
Everybody since then has been like a shill, pretty much.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see how anyone could disagree with that. I mean, who do you got after that? You got, I mean, Ford did fuck all. You got Carter, who's, I guess maybe actually was of honest intention, but also didn't accomplish anything. Reagan, enough said there. George H.W. Bush, enough said there. Carter. I will give Carter credit that he probably was honest. But then you got Reagan, you got, enough said. George Bush Sr., again, ditto. Bill Clinton, I mean, yeah, okay, oosh. W.
To be fair.
Yep.
To be fair, they were all really good at flooding our country with third world savages.
Well, that's very true. I mean, they were compassionate conservatives, right? This is what conservatives have been running on for the past 30 years. So, yeah, I guess some goobers somewhere probably think these guys were great, but yeah. So, yeah, I mean, less legitimate presidents, in my opinion, were Kennedy and Nixon.
Yeah, I never really thought about that. I didn't really think about the president in any good capacity.
Yeah, I mean, not to say that they all aren't compromised in some way because of the they all have to sell themselves to get donations and this and that, but I think Nixon was the last one who tried to at least have the good of the country in mind. Although Nixon did some dirty deeds too as well. I mean, purposefully prolonging the Vietnam War. The evidence is pretty clear on that. He probably should have gotten prosecuted for treason, to be honest. But at the same time, did a lot of good stuff as well. But then after that, I mean, he was the last interesting president. I mean, after that, you just got a series of empty suits, and then feckless Carter in the middle there.
Well, Carter wasn't all that great. I mean, what did he really do that was awesome?
He wasn't great, but I get the sense that he was honest, and he was also woke on the JQ, by the way.
Ask the people from East Timor how honest he was.
What did he do in East Timor?
He sold a shitload of guns so that they could just exterminate the entire island. I forgot who he sold them to, but yeah.
Really?
Yeah, he illegally sold a whole bunch of weapons to I don't remember who that was, but yeah, basically, and then lied about it. Somebody I was working with at one point was like, yeah, he was great because he put solar panels on the White House. I was like,
fucking liberals, man. Yeah,
my audio
it doesn't
still
surprise me.
It's still pretty bad.
I do know that despite his so-called so-called human rights talk, he was actually the one who began funding the Contras, not Reagan, and B was also the first one to start funding the Mujahideen. So yeah, that I can believe that he was doing that in East Timor, but he does have some refreshing qualities about him. Apparently, he's on record as saying during the 1980 election, if I ever get back into office, I am going to fuck the Jews. And that's a quote. and it's a quote he has never denied when he's been called on it. So
Damn.
Because
I love Carter now.
Yeah, actually, the Jews backed Reagan overwhelmingly in 1980.
Oh, I wonder why.
Yeah,
Imagine my
right. I
shock.
know it's so hard to believe. So
Well, we've been kind of president posting. I mean, it is Halloween, and this
this
is
is my Autiste posting. You know what we could do? Is,
I can actually.
I don't want
I got
to. I don't
something.
want. Oh, go. Well, I was just gonna say, if you guys do that Sandy Hook episode, like I'm down for that because I'm really good at I guess remembering facts about people. So I know a shit ton about Adam Lanza.
really because
Yeah.
we did our Sandy Hook episode.
Okay. Well, I mean, if you guys want to talk about it or want to talk about something else, that's fine. But like, I know a shit ton. Like,
You know what I find really
fascinated.
funny?
Yeah.
Raiden, how do you know so much about someone who doesn't exist?
Asking
Very-
the tough questions.
This is true.
I'm still in that camp, man. He doesn't real.
I find
not.
it easier to believe he's real than Stephen Paddock, and here's why. Because there's a lot more biographical information about Lanza. There's a lot more photos. You can access his forum posts. You can access a lot of. There's a clip of him where he calls into a radio show. If you guys don't know this,
How do they know that was him? Because he posted about it, right?
I mean, I
Because
guess
I've listened to
it
that
matches his
interview a couple times, and the
Because
way
they
that
call-
people
okay,
say that was him is because he
so-
posts about it on the forum.
Right, because he posts about it on the forum, and the stuff that he talks about in the radio show corresponds exactly to what the profile of this guy who's said to be Adam Lanza posts about, like talking about chimps and things like that.
Mhm.
I mean, I guess you can choose at a certain point. You just got to choose to believe it or not choose to believe it, and I choose to believe that it was him, and that there's a lot of information about him, unlike Stephen Paddock, of which we know literally nothing. So, and with him, so with Lanza, you get the sense of who he was and why he did what he did, so it makes sense. Whereas Paddock, there's nothing. There's no motive. There's nothing about him. So,
The thing with me on Sandy Hook is like, I don't really see why they wouldn't just actually murder a bunch of children. Like that doesn't seem outside the possibility. Like as a gun grab thing, or like encourage Adam to do it or something like that. That seems, because we know that the government doesn't give a fuck and they're willing to do that. Like they're willing to harm directly U.S. citizens to further their goals.
I guess I'm still of the, maybe you call it naive, but I'm still of the camp that they wouldn't do it to children. It would be really hard to find an agent willing to do 30 children like that. I mean, I
don't think it would be hard at all.
Yeah.
I don't believe that was for a second.
It does beg the question that if they did that to get a gun grab and didn't get what they wanted, then why would they think shooting up a country music concert of adults would be any better under a Republican president?
Oh, they got a lot of
I
what they
think a lot
wanted in
of
the state
those-
of Connecticut. They didn't necessarily get a nationwide gun thing, but the laws in Connecticut were changed drastically after Sandy Hook.
Yeah, I guess, but is that really
and
a
I-
good use of resources if all you get is some shit in one measly little state?
I think they're burying Paddock because of there's something about him that like is going to be really harmful to the general narrative they're trying to push that if it comes out.
Yeah, I mean, I guess. I tend to think that if that Paddock was real, but we just don't know anything about him because he was some kind of MK Ultra type guy or something like that. That went
seems
wrong.
possible to me.
Yeah, or something. I mean, the gun running angle or something. With Lanza, I just tend to believe it was Lanza based on what he believed. And you can read forum post after forum post to get an idea of that, plus his the interview that purportedly is him with John Zerzan on that radio show, and some other things. You just get the sense that basically he thought that like children were being like socialized, were being like, he called it like culture raping, where like they would be socialized. It was kind of like this weird noble savage sort of belief he had, where like the children would lose their innocence and become like kind of, you know, their creativity would be stomped out of them, and they'd become their like personalities and souls would be kind of ripped up because they would be like forced to become like adults, so to speak. And so he thought he was like doing them a favor. It's like really weird. I mean, the kid was obviously fucked up, but that's the like my sense of his thought process if you read his writings and shit.
Yeah, he's weird. I kind of went into Sandy Hook pretty like open about it, and I'm convinced that Adam was a real person. Did you ever see that video of him playing Dance Dance Revolution?
Yes. Yeah. There's literally like someone like in the background is like, it's Adam fucking Lanza.
He was going ham on that shit. What is the deal with like autists and DDR?
Because it's like very rigid and something you can really focus on. You know, it's just like up, down, left, right. You know, it's very clear. There's no ambiguity. It's not like it's
regimented in principle.
It's very regimented and principled. It's not like an
principled.
ambiguous kind of video game, like I don't know, like a Mario game or something like that. You know, where there's a lot more free form and freedom.
What do you think? What do you think about the gun running thing with Paddock? Because I think that's silly. But why?
I think the whole thing is silly.
So you believe the official narrative, Johnny?
No, I don't believe the official narrative at all. I believe I'm starting to. I mean, people have been sending me stuff on Twitter quite a bit. There's a new, actually, matter of fact, somebody just sent me one tonight of a video of a helicopter shooting at the crowd. So, I mean, like, depending on who you talk to, yeah. Where is it? I'm scrolling.
I mean, but why would people, if there was a helicopter, wouldn't people hear the they would literally hear the helicopter. They'd hear, you know, the chopping blades and everything, right?
Right? But I mean, like I've said several times already, you know what? We've seen 0 autopsy reports of the 50 people that are dead. We've seen even less of the 500 people that were just injured. Where are the people that got shot in the foot, the leg, the arm, got winged, got, like, you know, just nicked, whatever? Where are those people? Where are those interviews? Where there's not even one. There has not been a single one. You know, you'd think that you'd see somebody with a fucking cast, you know, on Hannity or on fucking something, you know. But what we get is we get fucking Campos, you know, a guy who's Jesus, who's a guy who's
he's a new
pounds,
dreamer American. So he, you know, isn't this so
50
perfect?
pounds heavier than he was in the first picture on Ellen. He apparently he was stress eating for a week and put on 50 pounds.
Give me a fucking,
you know. So I don't believe I am. I'm starting to be one of those people who's starting to believe that Vegas may not have even happened.
So you think it was just like one big show?
Yep. I mean, hey, this is pushing the envelope. They're like, hey, we got away with it with Sandy Hook with these kids, and let's see what we can get away with here. I mean, like, what? I don't put anything past these fucking Jews, dude. Like with, you know, not anymore.
Understand.
The narrative collapsed so quickly. And like, you know, what with the sheriff and not accepting questions at the press conferences, and everything just I mean, the whole thing fell apart and it disappeared. I mean, I've even seen pictures. There's a YouTube video out there where they show allegedly the full picture of the picture of Paddock and the Filipina or wherever she is, the Asian chick, and where his left arm that's supposedly holding the shot, that shot of tequila or whatever the hell he was holding, his left arm is actually extended downwards, and that is somebody else's forearm that's photoshopped in there.
Why would they do that though?
I mean, just to
What's
maybe
the point?
give him some sort of like maybe humanize it a little more. Oh, he's just look at him. He's just a party guy. You know what I mean?
And so he
who
looks
knows?
like more like a creep than he already is, right?
Yeah, I mean, who knows, dude? I really don't know. This is going to be another one of those things where you're like we were talking about with JFK. We're never going to 100% know. And this is we may never even like 25% know with this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I know this is like really almost the new JFK, to be honest. Like with JFK, honestly, at this point, we probably if we don't 100% know, we could probably 80% know. We have enough to take a pretty good guess. But with this Stevie Paddock thing, we know fucking nothing. We don't know where to begin. We don't know anything.
Yep, we've got the one brother who gets everything comped, and we have the other brother who, he's getting his cheese pizza comped. But and then look, it's Harvey Weinstein, and now fucking Hollywood is on fire and imploding with all these scandals, and
that's
it's
an
like
interesting thing too, because originally
Dude,
the theory with
I want to say
Weinstein
I
was,
think
well, go ahead.
I think the Kevin Spacey thing is actually like trying to cover up fucking Weinstein.
I don't.
I don't think so. I think I've been hearing people say that like Kevin Spacey's not going to get talked about because he's gay, so he's a protected class. But actually, if you look at the prominent lefties Twitters, they're pretty pissed. They're saying stuff like, "How dare you? You can't hide behind the rainbow after what you did." Like this, they're pretty mad at him.
You can't hide behind the rainbow.
Yeah, I'm not joking. That's what one of these people said.
Jesus Christ!
And actually, even outlets like The Guardian are now talking about how like male stars are coming out and saying, they've been like sexually assaulted and like by creepy pervs and shit like that in Hollywood. Like, and that it's widespread. So this is like the exact opposite of what you would think that Hollywood would want, or the powers that be would want. Because like they're confirming what we already knew, that Hollywood is full of rapists and like sodomites. So
Yeah, dude, it's a modern day Sodom.
yeah, it really is. And so it's interesting because
I don't even understand Hollywood. I mean, it's just we basically make movies and TV shows now for China. Like,
yeah, that's true. It's all for the foreign market
or another country.
What's
All right,
interesting?
guys.
Those people. Go ahead.
Hold on, time out, guys. So my audio is still shit, correct?
It's not great, but we can understand you.
It's bad.
Yeah, but you guys can understand. But like, how does it sound? Yeah. So here's the deal.
It sounds shitty.
Yeah, if I restart if I disconnect, we end the stream, which means that I'm either going to sound like this the whole time, or we're going to have to restart the entire stream. So let's go to the chat real quick. Let's ask the chat.
All right,
what they think.
What do you guys think? Should we restart the stream?
I'm okay to keep
Fix
going,
Ronnie's
but
audio?
if it's really bad and they can't understand, then we can restart.
Yeah.
It sounds
Restart?
easy.
Okay, we're gonna restart the stream. I mean, I hate to do this, but fuck.
No, Confessor.
Read Siege. Read Siege.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Nick.
I think we should just restart it. Yeah, recharge.
So I'm gonna disconnect this, and I will start a new one, and I will post the link in the paranormal group, and we'll start all over. How about that?
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Sorry about that, guys.